Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another conversation with creators, and I am your nerd, Malcolm McFadden, and today I have Juice Lee with me. What's up, Juice
Yeah,
Lee?
what's going on, man? I'm here. I'm pretty much kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Just working as always, making some stuff. So, yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So to get this started, if you can just give you a brief introduction of yourself and your comic book company.
So, I am Juice Lee, writer, rapper, all around MMA enthusiast and lover of all things martial arts and a lot of geek stuff. So, but yeah, I got a company called JUI Brand Media. I work with a company out in the Bay called NPC Comics that has helped me produce my comic book, my MMA based comic book called Skrap. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. To not go into a wide range of detail, which we'll get into later. But yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, cool, cool. So if you can you tell us a little bit about your comic Scrap?
Yeah, so my comic is it's an MMA comic, and basically it's highlights focus on like this journey of this woman, Shannon Noble, who got her black belt in traditional martial arts, and then basically gets thrown into the deep end of the world of MMA, and then finds out that her teacher didn't teach her everything, and there's like some mystical elements that she's gonna find along her journey about like basically not only conquering like MMA and like getting into combat sports, but also like finding out about herself and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. That's kind of the gist of the story. We got 5 issues out right now. We're working on a sixth issue that is due out in a few weeks. But yeah, that's kind of where we at.
Okay. So how did you get started into making comics, and what gave you that push to begin?
So the I have to start at the beginning. Like basically, the thing that happened with me is I'd always told stories my whole life. I had wanted to when I got out of high school and was going into college, I wanted to like get into filmmaking. And like, I wrote a bunch of scripts. I was, learning how to write screenplays and stuff like that. This is like early 2000s.
Mhm.
Um, and I've just learned how to write screenplays and that was like my goal. And then like I tried to put together a couple of like independent films or like, like short films and stuff like that. That proved to be incredibly difficult. And also I just didn't have the money. I didn't have like the organizational skills to like pull it all off. And it's crazy now because when you think about it, like, you got a lot of people because, I was I given up like trying to like put together movies myself and all that stuff like just before YouTube like, popped off. So like YouTube pops off in like 2006 and like I stopped like trying to go after this thing in like 2000 like 4 and 5 and stuff. So that's kind of like that's one of those things like damn, just right there, but ultimately, I made music. I focused on making music, for most of the early 2000s and the mid to late 2000s, but like it was always in the back of my mind. And I kept writing screenplays, I kept writing stories like that, but it just like I ended up getting on a TV show, or not a TV show, but a television pilot. I helped write a television pilot for for at that time was supposed to be like a kids cartoon. I don't know if it was Saturday mornings because by then Saturday mornings weren't a thing anymore. But like it was like a kids cartoon that they were trying to pitch. The pilot never went anywhere. But like it that whole experience just kind of let me know like you can kind of do this writing thing. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of legit here. You know what I'm saying? And so I had one idea that I started working on, and I went back to music, and I was making music a lot, and I had one idea I was trying to work on a lot, and eventually, like I got writer's block on it, and I was like, man, I want to make this into a TV show. I don't know how I'm gonna get it animated. This, and this. Had all these grand visions for it, nothing ever came about of it, and I was just like, I got writer's block and I was kind of discouraged. However, in that story, there was a side character which she ends up being the main character of Scrap. But there was a side character I was like, if I got this idea really big, then like I would go over and make this thing with her because I love martial arts and I love all that stuff, and it'd be like a big love letter to martial arts. It'd be a cool little side story. And so, my writer's block like kind of, was taking over me on working on this one idea, and I couldn't crack it. And so I was like, well, just to pass the time, let me just entertain this little idea of this side story here. You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of like snowballed because I was like, well, all right, I'll just write a little Bible for it. And then it turns into me writing, okay, maybe just one episode of it, or like one because I was still writing in a television format. So I was like, let me just write one episode. Then it turned into two episodes. Then it turned into three episodes. Then it turned into four episodes. Then it was like, maybe just let me do some concept art. And then I'm like, I can do better concept art. You know what? Let me do this. Like, let me do that. And like it just kept snowballing. And I'm thinking about my other original idea over here. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna get back to it. This, and this. And then, I put the images online. I was like, hey, this little idea I was messing around with. And, just off of the character designs alone, people were like, yo, what is this? We got to see what's up with this. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I guess just give a little money, maybe just do the first book and then make it a comic book. I'll just do one book. And then, it was just like, by that time, I was just kind of like, okay, I guess I'm just going to do this. You know what I mean? And it just like, so like at the end of the day, like, it was never, this never meant to, like, I never like set out to make this comic. It just happened. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes ideas like take over you and like take over your life, and you don't understand why they take over your life like that. And you know what I'm saying? It was just a different thing. I was like, okay, I guess we doing this now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna ride this wave. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. But yeah, like, 7, 8 years ago, if you'd have told me I was writing this and being a comic creator and all this other stuff, I'd have been like, that's freaking awesome. I would have never expected it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, that's freaking awesome. Like I'm doing it with that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, and that's just a side note about like with comics in general, like, and just anything that you create, you never know who's gonna rock with your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking like I'm making this book, it's gonna be this hardcore MMA thing, and like it's gonna be brutal, and we're gonna do blah blah blah, and it's gonna be all this other stuff. And then what ends up happening is I like noticed that like a lot of my target demo um ends up being like, a lot of women and girls, between the ages of like 16 and like 30 who don't give a shit about MMA. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a shit about like comic book, or they don't give a shit about martial arts or anything like that. They just like my characters. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, I want to go on their adventure. I want to see what's up with them. And I'm like, okay. And I still get my little hardcore MMA fan base in there or whatever. But like, so it was just unexpected that ended up being my demo. You know what I'm saying? Whereas it's like, okay, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And so I'm very grateful, for the people that do rock with it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, this is the journey we're on. You know what I'm saying? So everything is like largely unexpected. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so amazed at the people who like rock with the book, who just are like, yo, I'm here. You know what I mean? We did DreamCon this past weekend, and like just watching some of the people come back, and I was like, man, I got all the books. I love the story. I can't wait till you get the other one out. This and this, and like seeing that excitement on people has just been like, just it's just blowing my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Because it's people that I would never expected, like ever. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's what's up. How was DreamCon?
DreamCon was awesome. You know what I'm saying? We made a lot of money. We sold a lot of books. We just got a lot of interest from people. It was just really fun. You know what I'm saying? So, just really got to talk to a lot of people and just connect with like fans and stuff like that. And so I was very, very grateful that we got to go this year. I hope that like whatever they do with DreamCon, like wherever it ends up, because I don't think it's going to be in Austin next year. Wherever it ends up, I hope I can go. You know what I'm saying? So that would be cool. But yeah, that's pretty much what's up. We had a really good time. I met a lot of cool people, not only like industry people, like influencers and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to backtrack a little bit, I wanted to go back to what you were saying about how you wrote your comic as like a TV series first.
Yeah.
So was that how was it to transition from the script being like a TV format to a comic book format? Was that
I,
hard to switch
yeah,
back?
it was hard because when I originally made the script, like I said, I made it in TV format. The problem was I handed it to the artist, and the artist was like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" And when they were like giving me back panels, because they had to just guess at what the panels were. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm,
I given them a script. You know what I'm saying? And they had to just guess at what the panels were. And I was like, "Wait, none of this makes sense. This isn't what it is." And this isn't this. And then it's like, then I realized like I wrote it in the incorrect format. You know what I mean? So I had to go back. And even today, I'm still going back because I wrote so much in the TV format that even today, as I do, newer issues, I'm having to go back and like readapt it into the comic script format, you know what I mean? And so to make it like digestible for artists and people like that to like draw it. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing, and it's a thing you kind of have to learn. You know what I'm saying? Because like the medium is different. Um, and just to give anybody an example, whereas like a TV script or a movie script, you can just be like, exterior scene, Jimmy's place, and then you could set the scene where it's like Jimmy's place is like, it's downtrodden. It's like it's got a lot of garbage everywhere, things like that. And then like, but Jimmy's place is like, you got people that are hustling and bustling, but and then it's like the action line will be like Jimmy walks up and talks to so and so. But then like in a comic format, it'll be like panel one, it'll be the establishing shot of maybe a long shot of Jimmy's place, but then you see panel two, uh, Jimmy's walking up, he's thinking about something, and then panel three will be like he runs into XYZ person, and Jimmy and this guy are talking in this panel. Panel three is such solo shot of Jimmy saying XYZ. Panel four is solo shot of the guy Jimmy's talking to. Panel five is, you know what I mean? And so it's like you have to think of like that because, like I said, in a TV script format, it'd just be like Jimmy walks up and then it's just Jimmy and the guy's lines. You know what I'm saying? And so, that would be the thing. But yeah, it's just a different format. It's just a different way of approaching things. You have to kind of work your brain in that. It's especially big with action scenes, so when you have to create fights, because when you create fights, it's like the most impactful blows or the most dynamic shots like have to come out, with writing in comic format. Or whereas in like, a television format or a screenplay format, it's like, hey, you do your log line, your blocks, your action blocks, and then once you do your action blocks, it's like, okay, this is the dramatic hit, but it'll be like such and such they're fighting because you got directors or whoever the hell else is gonna figure out the actual fight itself. You know what I'm saying? And so like so and so is fighting, and then so and so gets hit with this one critical blow, and then they stop and talk. And it's like it's a different way to format and like think about those things. So yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it.
So so like you said, you have written like episodes, right? Do your
Mm-hmm.
episodes translate to like one episode translate to one issue, or does sometimes like does
It'll
the
be
one
one
episode?
episode like right now. So in the teleplay format in the original the original working of Skrap, there were 16 episodes, 16 22-minute episodes. So that translates into actually 3 books per episode. So, you know, yeah, so it's like it's roughly about 3 books per episode. But because since I added characters and took away characters and stuff like that, it's probably like different now if I were to really go back through it. Plus, I've changed like how certain scenes work and stuff. Um, but like, yeah, generally speaking, though, it would be like 3 episode or 3 issues to an episode, you know. And so, or two to three issues to an episode, except for like the first issue. The first issue was like basically all of episode one. I just kind of condensed it down.
Mhm.
Um, but everything else has been, you know, that type of format, that type of style. Um, but yeah, like it's kind of an interesting thing because when I like parsed it out, I started to look at it as like, holy shit, this is like 32 books. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm really like looking at the making it in that mathematical format, like it's 32 books that I would make. And I'm like, can I make 32 books of this? You know, so I don't know. We here on number 6, you know what I'm saying? About to be done with number 6. And I'm just looking at like, you know, how are we gonna do 7 and 8? Like we got a roadmap for them. I mean, I like as far as comic scripting goes, I have a roadmap all the way up to 12 right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just still thinking about that. Like, damn, there's still a lot to go. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's an interesting journey.
Yeah. So with that, is that time consuming to take your script from one format and make it to another? Or is it
Yeah,
pretty quick?
no, like so it's like the scripts are the actual TV scripts now, they're just like almost suggestions now. So it's like well, because when I originally wrote this, I wrote the story like the entire story like between 2018 and 2019. Yeah, I wrote it like I started writing it probably I want to say April of 2018, and then I finished it completely. I finished that story completely like sometime in like summer of 2019, And so basically taking it looking at what I've done now and just looking at the characters I've created and how remixed the characters and set up different things now and giving different energy to different characters. It's like looking at the original script is very much like, oh, this is where we are. This is kind of a roadblock or roadmap. Like, oh, okay, I know what to do here with this because I want to take this scene from the original script, but we're gonna do X, Y, Z to make this a little different. So, and then on top of that, the other part about it is this is going back to what I was saying about like the people. You're always gonna be surprised at the people who rock with you. um the people like really gravitated onto a particular character, and like she was initially just supposed to show up like way later in the story, but every bit of art that I kept putting out with her and all the energy I kept or all the things I kept doing with her, like little artwork and stuff like that, everybody kept loving her, and I was like, oh crap, okay, this character is very popular, so I gotta basically like rearrange a lot of things story wise to make her show up way earlier in the story and then like make her a more prominent character because people just absolutely loved her. Like when we look at merch and we look at like different things that I've created, like they love that character. They buy a lot of things with that character on it. And so I'm just like, all right, I guess this is the character we running with. You know what I'm saying? We'll put her, as much as front and center as we can. You know what I'm saying? And just make her more part of the adventure. So when I'm looking at like, what I did in the original comic script, she was never in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like me figuring out places to put her in, but not overexpose her is
Mhm.
like kind of the balancing act I got to do like right now. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, I don't want to super overexpose her, but I also don't want to like deprive people of her. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So with that character, right, and you saying you had to like change up a couple things,
Mhm.
what things do you look for like when you release a comic and you start getting feedback and stuff? What are things that made you really say, just besides people gravitating towards her, like what are things that really made you say, okay, I need to change this up and do this different because this would be better and easier to market?
Um, I think it was just like the overall response, like it's been interesting, like just seeing how certain characters and their dynamics work, you know what I'm saying? So it like what made me really like, pivot to, the Zakiah character being like a more having a more prominent role. It was just like the engagement, you know what I'm saying? Like every time like I would put something up, like her engagement, like the engagement that it would garner. And again, that just let me know, like, wow, people like these characters. They don't necessarily care about the martial arts aspect. It's like it's an added bonus. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, whatever. Let's go with it. You know what I mean? So that was a thing that was just very surprising to me, you know what I'm saying, overall. And I've been floored by just the response and how much people care about, like, this character, and like when they want to see her again and all this other stuff. So, that's been an exciting time. It's been an exciting time just seeing how that works out, you know. So yeah, I really can't explain, like, and I think the part about that is too is just like once I figured out like that was the vein to hit, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of stayed on it. It's the same thing with like music. Once you make music for so long, and like you put out your heart and like all of these records that you do, but then like you start to see what people like about you, and you start to see like the type of music that people like from you, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm gonna lean in that direction. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna lean into what these people want. So maybe if you're, from a musical standpoint, if you're a, lyrical miracle rapper, by choice, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like everybody likes when you write the more emotional songs. You know what I'm saying? Everybody responds to that as opposed to your lyrical miracle stuff. Then you're like, well, crap. Okay, I guess I gotta go into that direction. You know what I'm saying? If I can go in that direction, I want to mess with it. Or, if you're a dude that like you want to make like party stuff, you know what I'm saying? But like people ain't rocking with your party stuff, but like they might like your, grimy whatever type thing that you just kind of did as a off thing. And it's like, oh snap, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to meet the people where they are, man. And like it's a it's an experience, man. And like you're really surprised that you're always going to be surprised at what people like about you, because it's never going to be the thing that you like. It's never going to be the thing or the characters that like almost never is going to be the characters that you're like, oh, I'm here. This is my favorite character, and it's everybody's favorite character. And I think that's what a lot of creators they don't do enough time. They don't do enough time like researching like what it is that people like about what they do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times like people are just like, hey, I got this story and I think it's cool and I'm gonna put it out. And then, that's it. Like no, like figure out like who are the people that like who are the characters, or what about the story is people registering, is it like, if your story has magic, is it the type of magic, you know what I'm saying, is it like maybe the classes or whatever, you know what I mean? So if you figure that out, then you can start really building your story and making your story like appeal to that core audience and get them excited. And I think that's a huge thing you got to do, man. Like, because obviously everybody want to make some money and do some things, you know, and you have your ups and downs on it, but like it just helps a lot when you find out like what it is like you're doing this for. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Right. So I actually like the topic that we're on and what we're talking about here. So I have another question for you. So
Hmm.
marketing
Hmm.
wise, I checked out your social media. It seems like you do pretty good with marketing your comic book and letting people know. So what are your, because that's one thing that a lot of creators have trouble with. They easily can create, but marketing what they create is hard for them. So I wanted to ask you, what is your mindset when you go into marketing or think about marketing? What are some of the things that you focus on?
The things I focus on, like the number one thing this is what I was telling a couple of people this over the weekend, like when they were asking me about stuff at DreamCon. I was like, man, look, you know, the main thing that I figured out is like figuring out exactly what I said, what people like about what you do. Find that out first. Find out the type of people that like your stuff, and
Mhm.
then like go where they are at. You know what I mean? Because everybody's not gonna like what you do. Everybody's not gonna like your characters. Everybody's not gonna like your story. You know what I
Right.
mean? I know we all have this dream of being like, gonna have this crossover appeal, and then I'm gonna get the thing adapted into an animated series, and we're gonna make $600 billion and this and this. And like that's just not reality. You know what I'm saying? So you have to figure out like if I have this story with, magical frogs, but I got this one frog that like is, a goofy character that, he gets in a whole bunch of hijinks or whatever, and he causes trouble for the other team of frogs, you know what I'm saying? But like every time he shows up, everybody's like, oh snap, what is he gonna do? Then it's like, you know what? Maybe we need to give that frog a bigger role and like put them more on stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people are like looking for that frog to show up. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so maybe you need to figure it out. You know what I mean? Because we have to take it back to something that everybody knows that Captain Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow was supposed to be a side character in the original Pirates of the Caribbean. He was supposed to be just like, oh, this little, he's just a little one-off character. And the whole story of the Pirates of the Caribbean was about like Will Turner and like him trying to like what was it, like Will Turner, he was trying to like basically
He was trying
avenge
to free his dad, I believe,
his
from
free
like to
yeah,
get
he
his
was trying to
dad.
free his
Yeah.
dad from the curse of the Black Pearl. You know what I'm saying? So like that's all he was trying to do. So Jack Sparrow just happened to be along for the ride, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? But like everybody just remembered Jack Sparrow. They don't
Right.
remember Will Turner. They don't remember anything about like anything that he was doing. They remember Jack Sparrow showing up, and it's just like, oh snap, And then after the second movie came along, Will Turner showed up again, but his part was drastically reduced because they were like, let's all just focus on Jack Sparrow. By the time movie three came out, there was no Will Turner. It was all Jack Sparrow. And then, like, movie four, all Jack Sparrow. It's just like, because that's what people wanted. You know what I'm saying? People wanted that character and they liked that character. So, you really have to definitely give people what they want, and like figure out once you figure out that, and it takes some time. It's not like because you got to like find people who are going to like um give you honest feedback, but also you got to find strangers that are going to give you like you're gonna have to read how they respond to certain things. You know what I'm saying? And so again, it is just learning how to take that, have that thick skin about like your product. Because like again, I can do the elevator pitch. I do the elevator pitch for my book, hundreds of times at a con every week or every time I go to a con. I'm so used to like, people like either walking away or not doing anything or just being like, all right, I'm out, peace. I'm not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like not messing with it at all. That it doesn't affect me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it doesn't affect me like in this capacity because unlike the music, where it was like when I was doing the music, I was the product. You know what I'm saying? I was the product. And so if I'm like selling my music to people and then they reject it, then it was just like, oh damn, that's an indictment on me. You know what I'm saying? And so this, and this. But like I think creatives have to get out of this idea that the story that they're creating, they're the product of the story that they're creating. You know what I'm saying? Like unless the story stars you specifically, you know what I'm saying? Like you should never you should never be discouraged. You should never be afraid to approach people to tell them about this great thing that you created. You know, again, accept the fact that not everybody's going to like it. Accept the fact that not everybody's going to, you know, be able to, you know, rock with your characters or like what you do, because there are going to be some people that just outright hate it. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. But for every person that outright hates it, you know, hopefully you'll have like a good amount of people be like, oh man, this is really interesting. I want to find out more. You know what I mean? And like, you really should like focus on that. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, the other big thing is just figuring out, you know, how to condense the story, how to condense the pitch of your story into something you can say in like 30 seconds or less. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people can't do that, and it's just, you know, I was talking to somebody, uh so this woman, her boyfriend, like they had a booth like a ways down from us, and she came over, she was talking about you know, what he created, and basically she was trying to explain, she's like, I was like, how do you explain your story, you know, how like what is this story about? And she couldn't do it. She was a writer, but she was like, I'm here for my boyfriend. I'm trying to support him. But like, to explain his story, to explain what it's about, you have to think about, it's Evangelion meets this, and it's 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 just, I was like, "Ah, what? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just like you have to, because and you also have to think about it in many aspects of selling your story. You only got so much time to like get people, you know what I'm saying? Some people are like, they look at it, they'll be like, oh, the art's cool, or they'll be like, oh, okay, I don't care, bye, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be always those types of people like that. So from a marketing standpoint, um again, number one thing, find out who your target audience is. Number two, you know, find out what people like about your stuff. Number three, make sure that you make a pitch that is very concise and to the point. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, those are my biggest things with marketing and learning how to market your comic book, that I always stress to everybody. So,
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. That was some good information. So next, I'm a pivot into away from, you know, more marketing and getting to more of your experiences as a creator. So
mhm.
my next question I have for you is, what are some of your highs and lows as a creator?
Uh, the highs, you know, obviously like getting, you know, basically having, I'd say the highs, and it's not even really a high that like people would expect, is, I think it's just being able to be in a position where, um, you know, the profits of the book have paid for a lot of the expenses of the book. You know what I'm saying? So I've been in situations where I sold a bunch of books one weekend, and then I was like, you know, I'm wondering like what's up with you know, a certain bill that's come up, like maybe a travel expense or something like that. And then I'm like, oh snap, this is going to take care of it, and I don't have to come out of my pocket, and like the book sustained itself. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So though, to me, those are the like the highest, the highs of the highs. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh snap, this thing is, it supported itself. I didn't have to like go into that. The lows and the lows is also connected to that, though, is the fact that sometimes you'll make investments into certain products, that you know, you thought like, hey, this is gonna sell and whatnot, and you find out that you have made a poor gamble, and now you got like a bunch of product where you're just, it's collecting dust. You know what I'm saying? And you're just like, I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And so, that hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like I recently had that happen where I invested a lot into these figurines, and the figurines, basically, you know, I like in two of the most, in like BlurCon and DreamCon, I invested into these Zakai figurines, these little chibi figurines, and like I have not been able to sell them. And you know, I spent a lot of money on them, and like I am like really deeply in debt because of them. And you know, I'm just being 100% transparent. This is like it was a gamble that I made. I thought it was gonna work out, and it has not. And so now I got like boxes of these things basically sitting in my basement right now, and I'm just like, I got another con in like, you know, at the end of next month, and I'm hoping that like I can sell these for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna sell them for 25, and then I couldn't sell them for 25. I was like, well, I'll sell them for 20. Couldn't sell them for 20. You know, I was like, well, let me sell them for 15. Sold a couple for 15, and then I was like, okay, well, shit, see if I can sell them for 10. I sold a couple for 10. I was like, damn, like, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm like, you know, I just basically am like, I just need to get rid of these things. So I'm like, I need to start selling these like damn near at cost. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's gonna be like maybe I can get them all for 5. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, but it's heartbreaking because I spent a lot of money to get these things made, and you know they didn't work. You know what I'm saying? And like there was another experiment I had like that too. Um, you know, a couple years ago where I had MMA gloves. I had MMA gloves with the Skrap logo on them, and they were legit MMA gloves. And like everybody likes them. They go like, oh, that's cool. They pick them up, they put them on. This is nice, but they don't buy them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? And so I don't. Luckily, I only had a few of those because I used those for my Kickstarter campaign from a couple years ago, and like some people bought them through the Kickstarter campaign, but now I'm just like, all right, next time, you know, like I'm never gonna do those again. I mean, I was up until like last year, I was still getting calls from the company like, hey, you want to buy another pair? It's like, no, man, like I couldn't never sell these things. So I'm never doing that again. You know what I mean? And so it's just a hard it's just a hard thing to like try to figure out like what people like about what you do and then what people are willing to buy. And so sometimes you take gambles on things because you want to stand out. You want to be like, okay, let me stand out and sell something different than, what everybody else is selling. But like the things that I've known to be consistent, that people love, that people have always bought, um, they buy posters, they buy stickers. You know what I'm saying? Those are the two things outside of the comics, those are the two things they always buy. Every now and again, they might buy like, just some like a shirt or like a clothing item or something like that. Every now and again, they might buy that, but the toys and the other stuff is very rare. You know what I'm saying? And again, it just might be me. It just might be me and my product. You know what I'm saying? Like the comic and everything like that. It just might not resonate with the right people to and do something different. Be mindful of what you try. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that like it doesn't financially like set you back. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, like the thing with the toys like has really set me back. It was a gamble. I took a gamble and I lost. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keep it 100% real. A lot of people like to lie and be like, oh well, it's doing no blah. Like, nah, I lost. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like I accept that. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing about like, training like martial arts and stuff like that, you don't you win and you learn, you know what I'm saying? And so I learned that maybe this wasn't the move, you know what I'm saying? And so and it could be it just wasn't the move right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, we get more people that are interested later on and we get like a bigger fan base. Maybe people will mess with it, you know what I'm saying? And it'll be cool. But right now, it's just not a thing. So
So let's say, what advice would you give to other creators that want to take a gamble? Like, say creators thinking, "Hey, I may have this that I think can sell." What are things that you think? What are things that you suggest they should think about before taking that gamble?
um poll your audience. Poll your audience and don't like you gonna always have like and I mean really like consistently poll your audience. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna always have people that like kind of sort of rock with you and say, Yeah, and this is what I found out with clothes. Because I sit there like on Printful, like right now on Printful, like I'm designing like the jacket that one of the characters wears um in the series because I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to be like, oh, here's the actual jacket because I did the hat a couple days ago. And I was like, this came out really dope. You know what I'm saying? But like the character is not that popular. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's like one of the main characters and like he's like one of the sidekick characters and he shows up like in every freaking book. He's just not. He doesn't resonate with a lot of people. He resonates with a certain demo of people, but he doesn't resonate with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And so he's not like a super instantly marketable character. But uh poll people on what they want, you know what I'm saying? Because you might have this idea. I know years ago I had this idea of doing like rash guards, you know what I'm saying? About like jujitsu rash guards, stuff like that. Do you know about that at all?
No.
Like, okay. So in jujitsu and like grappling, a lot of competitors wear what's called rash guards, and rash guards are like kind of like these kind of Under Armour type skin tight, tops or whatever. If you click on any like no-gi grappling match, you'll see like a person wearing them, like male or female. They're always like really intricately designed. They have like a bunch of different types of designs on them. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, years ago, I was like, man, this would be cool if I got like and put my characters on a rash guard and like I think it would be dope. But then like I was talking to some people and they were like, I mean, I know you think that and you have good character designs. The problem is like no one knows who these characters are. So no one is gonna like immediately buy that. And like you can go and look up online what it is for a custom rash guard and like you can get like so many made, but you're gonna be in a situation if you do this, you're gonna be in a situation where you just got a bunch of rash guards made that like only are gonna fit so many people and like nobody's gonna buy them. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna end up collecting dust in your house because clothes are super hard to sell. You know what I'm saying? Like they're super hard to sell, even if it's just a logo shirt. Like I got like a bunch of Skrap logo t-shirts that like I bring to every con and like I think I sell maybe one Skrap t-shirt like every 2 to 3 cons. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard. And so like to add in like, oh, you got a design on this specific type of clothing, you know what I'm saying, made for this specific type of niche, is it's too much of a gamble. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you wasting your money. I mean, if you got money to blow like that, do you, but like this stuff be costing and like, you know, you can get into debt real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, take it from me, you can get into debt very, very quick, like trying to chase, whatever marketing thing. This is why I love stuff like Printful, because I can design this jacket and it can be cool, it can be fresh, but like nobody is gonna I don't have to worry about like holding an inventory or like worrying about somebody buying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, luckily, I ran into a situation like at DreamCon. I had a friend of mine. She was supposed to come up to DreamCon to cosplay, and I had a jacket made for her to like do this particular cosplay for the main character, and she couldn't make it. So I was like, well, shit. I just bought this. I just had this jacket printed up. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. But luckily, um, I talked to some. I hang it up at our booth, and it was a small, and like luckily we had somebody come through that was a small that liked the jacket, and I was like, I told him like, hey, you could probably fit this. Go ahead, take it. You know what I'm saying? It's a one of one, and you know, ain't nobody got it. You know what I'm saying? And so they went and bought it, and it worked out. But like these things are hard, man. Like doing printing anything or making anything outside of comics to push your stuff is very, very hard and it's very, very risky, you know. So either if you don't have like some way to make them to mass make the item where it's not going to cost you a lot of money, then you know, very much be very cautious of what you do, or be like make sure you only get a small amount so that you don't get caught slipping, you know. So that's what I would always tell anybody, you know what I'm saying? Like dip your toe in the water, you know what I'm saying? Don't jump in because you're gonna have a bad time, you know. So yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank you for that little bit of advice. That's actually really dope. So, a question I had earlier that I didn't never get to because these other questions came up, but I wanted to ask you, are you didn't mention anything about like being a fan of like comic books. Are you into
Oh
comic
yeah.
books?
Yeah. Yeah, like I've been nuts about comic books forever, man. Like the funny thing about it is like I have been more I'm a huge MMA fan, obviously, but
Mhm.
like as far as like comics goes, I have like been like a fan of comics like since I was like a little kid, but like more recently, like I've ran into a run of just reading comics nonstop, probably in like the late or the early like 2010s, because like around the time like Jonathan Hickman was doing like Secret Wars and stuff like that, like I was like super into this, you know what I'm saying? I was super into like just different comic runs and stuff like that. And because at that time I was kind of combining. I was doing my music, and I was doing like nerdcore hip hop, and I was doing stuff with Mega Ran or whatever. And Mega Ran, originally his lane was he doing retro video games. He talking about Mega Man stuff, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be like great value Mega Ran, but like what I know is comics, you know what I'm saying? And so I started making like I had a YouTube channel, well, I still got it, but like on my YouTube channel, what I used to do was I used to do this thing called Mike Issues. And like Mike Issues was just like a comic recap of like basically all the books that came out that week. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, I'd have like 8 bars about like, whatever, like Daredevil 68, and then it transitioned to 8 bars about like, this new Spider-Man run, and then it transitioned to like, 4 bars about like, whatever, like the Superman run. And like I would do that, and it would be dope. And then like every now and again, I would take a comic arc where I would take a comic arc and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna break down this comic arc. So I did Craven's Last Hunt, you know what I'm saying? And I made it like an entire song. And like and like on the video is just the clips of like, the actual panels and stuff like that. But it's like it's me spitting about like everything and just breaking it down. So I really love doing mic issues, man. Like, and it's funny because like even while I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, man, with the time that I have right now, I could probably do mic issues again. You know what I'm saying? And like probably like mess around and just drop one and just see how people would like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because this was like I was doing these joints like I want to say like 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's 2024. So about 2014, I was doing mic issues. 2014, 2015, I was like every week I would drop a new mic issues. And then once a month I would do like an arc. You know what I'm saying? So like I did Craven's Last Hunt. I did I think Craven's Last Hunt was the only one I did because I think I had planned like I was gonna do Nightfall. I was gonna do like the Killing Joke, and then I was gonna do it was something else. It was another arc. It was another run, but like I was going to try to like make all of these records, basically based off these comics. And yeah, so when we get off here, I'll send you the Craven's Last Hunt joint.
Oh,
And
definitely. Yeah, I would
it
love to see
was
that.
yeah, it was fun, man. Like, and I just think about that, like, man, like mic issues was super fun, like, especially how I would set them up, you know what I'm saying? Because I just get a beat and then put my captions at the bottom and all that other stuff like that, and people really liked it. So,
No, that's a dope
it just
idea.
yeah, say what?
That's a dope idea.
Yeah, and so like, I just I think about it now. I'm like, how could I do it again? You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, like, and this is going back to just me, just something personal with me, like, you know, and I was telling somebody else this over the weekend, is it's like I really love like even though I'm working on comics and I love making comics and I love like this whole experience of like doing stuff with comics, I still really love making music. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I still really love making music. The problem the thing I don't like about making music is I don't like um just revving up the machine. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the idea of you make a song, then you got to make a video, then you got to like go and make sure it's on certain Spotify playlists. Then you got to go and push it this way and that way and push it to these people and that people. Like, I just want to make the music and then
Mhm.
just like, hey, here it exists. I might do a little something for it, a little video where I'm rapping it, and then call it a day and then be done with it. You know what I'm saying? But there are so many rules to making music, you know what I'm saying? And like trying to do things with it, like that, it took the fun out of it for me. You know what I'm saying? So like now I just want to like do things because they're fun. You know what I'm saying? Like with comics, I know it's a process. I have my team. I know like we're doing a thing and we go to cons and do all that stuff like that. That's fine, whatever. Um, and it's like, and I love doing that stuff and taking care of that aspect of it. But like music, I still love performing just because I love creating, you know what I'm saying? And I love just making things. And I just hate that process of you have to do all of these things in order for your music to like get to the right people and it has to do this. Like, why can't I just do it and it exists? You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of people with the music thing just kind of suck the fun out of it for me. But like, and I think that's another reason why like I like comics so much because one, again, I'm not the product, and number two, I've heard so many stories about like, comics breaking people and like, comics like being a detriment to people and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, I understand that, and if I'm looking at my bank account, and I'm looking at my credit score, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's impact like the making this comic has sorely impacted my credit score and my debt and all other stuff like that. But you know, I've been broke down more. I've been broken down more by music, and so there's pretty much nothing that comics can do to me that music hadn't already did to me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm like I feel like it's kind of like walking into here, being almost immune because people like you had a completely different industry that like beat the snot out of you already. So it's like whatever y'all gonna throw at me, it ain't gonna be nothing to what they did to me. You know what I'm saying? So, let's rock. I can roll with the punches, I can endure whatever and we can make it happen. You know what I mean? So but yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too. And that's just advice for anybody, it's you gotta have thick skin, you gotta be able to roll with the punches. Everything is not gonna be a hit out the park. Everything is not gonna be amazing, and you're gonna get calls from everybody. You know what I'm saying? You might be languishing for a couple years. You might have a guy, you might do a convention where the guy next to you is selling a bunch of books, and then they about to get picked up and they about to get all this other stuff about to happen to them, and they got people talking to them about adaptations and stuff like that, and you just over there with your little book and you just like, well, I'm here, don't, and I'm just like, I sell a couple books, sell little stickers, and I'm here and I'm just making it work, and like, and you got to be okay with that. You can't look at the next guy and be like, man, I can't believe, is he that much better than me? He's like, no, the dude just probably got another story. He just, they messing with his story. On top of that, it might be a totally different audience. You know what I'm saying? So, so if you got like, and that was the other thing too, because I was talking to, um, I had some ladies come up, and it was interesting, like, because I never had this before, but it was some ladies that came up, and they saw my characters, and they were like, hey, do you have like hentai of the characters? I was like, whoa, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, Because first I was thrown, I was like, because they were like, it might be weird. Don't take offense to it, but like, do you have hentai to characters? I was like, nah, I've never thought about that or anything like that. And to be honest, like, there's a particular demo that likes my characters that like I like that they like my characters. I think if I did the hentai stuff or the thirst trap fan service stuff, um, I'm gonna get a different demo, and I don't I'm gonna lose that other demo. You know what I'm saying? And so I worked hard to cultivate this demo over here, you know, of people. And so they like it for this. And like if I start doing that, then I'll automatically lose them. So, I like what I have, you know what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, that's cool, no worries. But it's just one of those things where like, yeah, like you gotta kind of be aware of everybody ain't gonna like your stuff, and like some people they might blow up on whatever, you know what I'm saying? But stick to your course, stick to your guns, know your people, know your audience, because the real thing now, and this is just a personal belief of mine, is your community. You know what I'm saying? Like if you build your community will take care of you. You know what I mean? So I would strongly suggest any creator um build and interact with your community. Because there's going to be a group of people that really like your stuff. And if you make them feel like they're a part of the journey, and you make them feel like they're contributing to what happens either on the page or just in general, if you make them feel that way, they're gonna like they're gonna rock with you more than any any influencer or any show or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I realized that, like, because for a long time I was like, I used to try to hit up certain people in the space, like, man, hey, can you just check out my book? Can you just do this? And can you just like just give it a look? And you know, what if I send you this? And I was really, really on that for like a couple of years, where I was like, I if this person just gave me a shot, and they just, maybe just look at it. I know you have so many followers and things like that. And I used to do that. Like, and then I realized, like, nah, don't do that, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that you're these people who are the kingmakers, they ain't gonna be the kingmakers forever. And on top of that, like, you get one video out of it, and then like what happens then? You might get a little bit of buzz, you might get a little bit of something, but the better long-term thing is if you get like um you get a Discord that's got like 200, 300 people on it, and like that Discord, every time that you're dropping a book or you drop an image, oh man, what's up, and you talking to people and you interacting with those people, and they telling people about your thing. So it's like 150 hardcore fans and Discord members would probably reach like 10 times more people than like like significantly reach like more people than like your Instagram influencer who's just looking at your stuff for content. You know what I'm saying? And being like, oh, this is content. All right, cool. All right, here's a thing. Maybe check it out. And then people that like follow them, they're like, oh, okay, maybe I'll check it out, whatever. And you get like a few people that mess with it, and then that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you got your team, you got your army, you got whatever your such and such nation is, you know what I'm saying? And they just like, man, yo, and that's the other thing too, is like it's an effect that happens when you go to conventions. So if you go to like a popular convention, and like you have some of your team or your people that like, yo, I just came here, blah 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 blah. There are people that walk by and they like, wait, what are you guys doing over here? What's going on? That FOMO happens. And then now you got a new fan. Now you got a new person that like actually is like, you know what? I'm gonna pick up this book. I'm gonna do this because I saw these people getting passionate about it. Is like, maybe I need to check it out. You know what I'm saying? And like that is the key. And that is the thing that a lot of creators, I feel like, they miss, and they because they get so wrapped up in either just being like, oh, I'm gonna just make this book and hopefully it'll sell itself, or they get wrapped up in, I need to get this interview and I need to get this whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they get wrapped up in that, you know what I'm saying? So um getting your community is like, that's my real goal now. That's my white whale now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like I think that's where it has to happen. You know what I mean? Like everything else is cool, you know, and I'm so grateful like when like somebody like you was like, hey man, what's up? You know what I mean? Like I'm super grateful for that because I don't get a chance to like get on many platforms and talk. So, you know, me having, you know, diary of the mouth right now is basically the result of, you know, not getting enough time to talk, you know what I'm saying? And being like, I don't get enough platforms to talk on and stuff like that. So, you know, that's really what that is.
Sure. Well, we need to get you on some more platforms.
Yeah. So yeah, I take every opportunity I have, and it's like, you know, that's cool. But I do think about like my community and building my community a lot. You know what I mean? Well, like right now we figuring out what we're gonna do on Discord. We probably gonna watch some kung fu movies like this weekend. And you know, like I don't know, I'm thinking like maybe like 10 Tigers of Shaolin or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, we be doing that stuff. And I want those people. I want those people to be like, let's come back and watch such and such with him, and you know what I mean, and then they feel part of it. Because when people feel part of something, they
Hmm.
will ride. They will ride so well. So creators, more than anything, marketing, find out your people, find out what people like, you know, find out like the type of people that like your stuff, go where they are, and then above all else, build community. So
Mm.
those are your biggest goals. No matter how dope your story is, like it lives and dies on like you having community and you having people cape for you, you know, in spaces that you can never reach. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that's my 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? So
Hey, I like it because, bro, I didn't even have to ask my last question. You
mhm.
just answered it without me even having to ask it. And my
Yeah.
last question, normally any advice you want to give to creators, but you just gave a
Yeah.
whole bunch. Like, is there any more advice you want to add to that?
I don't know, man. Just like, you know, love, also have a love for what you do. You know what I'm saying? Have a
Facts.
love for like the thing that you're creating. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it shows. Like, I think I've had live streams where, you know, people get me talking about martial arts and like I'll just start, I'll just start riffing on it. You know what I'm saying? Riffing on like fights, fighters, all that stuff like that. And like, I had somebody that like literally just was like, man, I love your passion. You know what I'm saying? I love your passion about this stuff. I don't even follow this stuff, but I love your passion about it. And it made me want to buy your books. It made me want to buy like your stuff and follow your journey and follow the characters and all that other stuff. I was like, well, shit, okay. You know what I'm saying? Cool. You know what I'm saying? Because when I go to conventions and people like they'll ask me about stuff, we'll it's you can't get me to stop talking about it. You know what I'm saying? You can't get me to stop talking about like, these characters that I love. You can't get me to stop talking about the fighters that I love. You can't get me to stop talking about like the techniques and all of that stuff like that. It's just like it's so much like love, and I think it's enthusiastic. But even in that, um, the the love for wanting to help people, you know what I'm saying, help other creators is something that like, my friend was telling me like, she said like, yo, maybe you should do something with that. It's like, maybe you should be somebody that like, kind of helps other people, whether it's like some sort of motivational thing or whatever. And I'm like, I I ain't got no formal education on this stuff, but like, if I had like some sort of education or something like that, or if I had some sort of certification, I totally would. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like I don't even know where to begin. You know what I mean? So I'm very much a person that feels like information should be free. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people that like gatekeep and be like, well, if you want to learn blah blah blah, you got to pay me 19.95 and I'm gonna tell you the six things that you already know, and we're gonna do a 6-week course. And it's like, man, no, You know what I'm saying? Like go and like, because at the end of the day, they can't make you do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I can give you all this information. You gonna have this podcast recorded, and like somebody gonna listen to it, and they can be like, oh, that's cool. And they can be like, they can take the information and they could do nothing. It's not on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They it was already out there. Here's the information. Boom. And this is what I did. This is what I experienced. This is where I triumphed. This is where I failed. And then whatever you take away from that is what you take away from that. My homeboy that was my DJ for some years, he I always love his quote. He said that you decide your own level of involvement. You know what I'm saying? And like, I love that. You know what I'm saying? Just because like it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really, really about this and you really about to, want to make your book pop or make your book the best it can be, or make you whatever it is that you're creating, you want to make it the best you can. You decide your own level of involvement. If you want to take the information I'm saying and use it as gospel or use it as like or disregard it, that's all on you. That don't stop me, that don't affect me, no way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
so if you felt that way, if it was helpful, cool. If you didn't feel it was helpful, cool. You know what I'm saying? It's your journey. You know what I'm saying? Like your
Right.
journey, what you want to do, how you want to do it. I can't stop you. I don't have any invested interest in you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
whatever you want to do is what you want to do. And hopefully, if you take one thing that I said and to heart and implement it or like think about it, cool, dope. But if you be like, oh, he's full of crap because he only got 3,000 followers or 3,800 followers on Instagram, so he don't know nothing. Like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna stop my journey. My bills is, they still gonna be calling me like, hey, we need our money. Like, what is it gonna do for me? You know what I'm saying? So, that's really how I feel about it.
Cool. So I really want to thank you for coming on to this interview. I think this has definitely been a very insightful interview. I think it will definitely help other creators. So I really want to thank you for being a part of this.
Right, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you giving me a platform, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate just, anytime anybody like puts a microphone in front of my face to like ask me to talk about something, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. I'm excited. I'm gonna give you everything I got. Hopefully, I said something that somebody will mess with and take with them, and that'll be a thing. But if not, I mean I'm cool too. You know what I mean? So I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that like you know what I'm saying, like was like, hey, I'll take some time and talk to you and whatnot. So, appreciate that, man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So before we get out here, I don't want to hold you too long, but before we get out of here, is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah.
Anything shameless
So we
promotion?
got our official site, skrapcomic.com.
Mm-hmm.
We have merch up there. We have like not only the books that you can get digitally or physically, but we also have a bunch of different merch. We got jackets up there, we got shirts up there. All of these things I designed myself. Because I really have gotten off into this like clothing design thing. It has been really interesting and really fun. I didn't think I would love it as much as I do. Um, but like just shirts, jackets, hats, all that stuff. But we got the comics up there, we got posters up there. But it's scrapcomic.com is the site. Also, we got a link to our Discord there. I'm trying to get more interactive with the Discord. We're trying to do like watch parties and watch alongs where either we watch old fights or we watch like old kung fu movies or old martial arts movies and stuff like that. And I just really want to like invite people to come through, be cool, we laugh, we have fun, and just what I'm saying, just have a vibe, you know what I mean? So issue 6 of Scrap, because we have 5 issues out right now, but issue 6 of Scrap is going to be out in the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
uh you know um I just want to like really plug that, and everybody's going to know about that in the next couple of weeks once we have it, because you're basically not going to be able to talk to me without me saying something issue 6 of Scrap is out. You know what I'm saying? Like every sentence is gonna end with a, hey Juice, what's up, man? Oh no, I'm chilling. But issue 6 of Scrap is out. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, where's that, Lawnmower is like, oh, it's in the back, but issue 6 of Skrap is out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna you're gonna hear it so much it's gonna be annoying. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's pretty much the big thing, man. So those are my plugs. At Juicely on Twitter, Scrap Comic Official on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, those are that's pretty much it. That's all I got. So
Cool, cool.
yep.
Well, once again, thank you, and everybody that's watching. Thank y'all for watching. It's been another dope episode of Conversations with Creators.